In 2015, a new memoir became a global bestseller, but one person was legally forbidden from seeing it: its author. Before release, the U.S. government ran heavy black ink across thousands of lines, claiming the hidden text posed a direct threat to national security. The author was Mohamedou Ould Slahi. In 2001, he was detained without charge. He was stripped of his name, assigned the number 760, and locked inside the Guantánamo Bay detention camp. Slahi was rendered to a prison in Jordan, then to the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, and finally to Cuba. Once there, he was subjected to a severe, months-long special interrogation plan, a program of sustained physical and psychological torture personally approved by Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. Slahi authored a 466-page manuscript, while his captors controlled his sensory input, his sleep schedule, and his physical space. Every word was an act of defiance against absolute isolation. Curious, when Slahi first decided to record his story, he had to steal paper and use a flimsy, bendable pen that required constant shaking just to keep the ink flying. He hid his diary pages inside library books, but military interrogators routinely found and confiscated them. Slahi and his legal team discovered a loophole. He stopped writing a traditional diary and began drafting the manuscript as a series of handwritten letters addressed directly to his lawyers. This triggered attorney-client privilege. Attorney-client privilege is a legal doctrine that requires all communications between a lawyer and their client to remain confidential. By utilizing this rule, Slahi made it a federal crime for his military interrogators to read, intercept, or destroy his pages. The pages made it to his lawyers, but the public still couldn't read them. The government's privilege team, a group of intelligence officers who monitor detainee correspondence, refused to clear the letters for release. Slahi's legal team fought them in closed-door court sessions for 7 years. Finally, in 2015, the government agreed to declassify the book. But the release came with aggressive structural redactions. Entire pages were scrubbed, leaving behind fragmented sentences and massive black voids. This declassification allowed the government to maintain control over the narrative of Slahi's captivity. Looking at the sheer volume of censorship, you have to ask, what critical state secrets were actually buried underneath those thick black lines? When Slahi eventually reconstructed the text, the truth was less dramatic. The censors had blacked out a harmless parody poem he wrote. They covered up the fake Star Wars nicknames that his guards had invented for themselves. In another section, the censors heavily redacted pronouns and identifying details to obscure the identity of a specific female interrogator. The redaction hit a moment where she mocked Slahi as a backward Yemeni. Slahi is from Mauritania. Yemen is an entirely different country, located 4,000 miles and an entire continent away. The interrogator responsible for his torture didn't even know his home country. The black ink shielded institutional embarrassment and geographic incompetence rather than undercover operatives or sensitive locations. In October 2016, a military review board cleared Slahi for release. He was put on a cargo plane and flown to Nouakchott, Mauritania, where he was finally reunited with his family. Once free, Slahi was finally able to read a photocopy of his own published, redacted book. Looking at the pages, he realized exactly what the government censorship had achieved. The intimidating stamps reading "secret" and "protected" that framed his fragmented words sent a specific message. The visual weight of the black bars created the false impression that his missing words were somehow dangerous to the public. Slahi teamed up with his editor, Larry Seams, to repair the manuscript. Working from memory, Slahi recalled the events hidden behind the ink. Together, they reinstalled the missing facts and sentences, brick by brick, until the original narrative was whole again. Slahi bypasses a closed military system to present his case to a jury of humanity. His 466-page document stands as proof that truth and human dignity outlast the censor's pen.